Hey everyone, and welcome to another video here on the channel. So this doesn't directly have to do with GTA, though it is a part of it. But what PlayStation posted today is just a look ahead to the dark dystopian future of gaming that is rapidly approaching if we don't do anything about it. Important updates, news on physical discs for new games, and news on PlayStation Store on PS3 and PS Vita. So we'll start off with the huge news here. PlayStation is ending support for physical game discs in January of 2028. From that point on, everything will be sold in digital-only formats. In response to shifting trends in consumer preference, new games will be released on PlayStation Store and at retailers in digital formats only. As consumer preferences and the broader entertainment industry continue to shift away from physical discs to digital, physical game disc production for all new games releasing on PlayStation consoles will be discontinued starting January of 2028. Following this date, new games will be available on PlayStation Store and at retailers in digital formats only, meaning just digital code and box things. This transition has no impact on games that have already released or will be releasing prior to January 2028 in disc format. This is a natural direction for Sony Interactive Entertainment to adapt to consumer trends as the general preference for digital media significantly outpaces physical discs. This transition will enable us to align more closely with how most of our community prefers to access and play games today. We'll continue to prioritize our resources to drive innovation in how players can access games and provide choices as to where players prefer to purchase new games, whether that's at retailers or PlayStation Store. We remain committed to delivering a world-class gaming experience to our fans, and we thank you for your continued support. For important updates on PlayStation Store for PS3 and PS Vita announced today, please click here, which we will get into in a second after we cover this shit show. So do you guys remember back in the PS4 days when PlayStation put out that ad shitting on Xbox completely for their stupid, terrible DRM practices they were trying to shove down our throats? I'll go ahead and play the ad really quick if you don't remember that.
This is how you share your games on PS4.
Thanks.
PlayStation.
Yeah, this back then was huge. This was a massive blow to Xbox, and honestly is part of the reason why PS4 took off so well. Compare that ad to the ad they just put out today on how to share games with a digital-only future.
I'll get you a spoon so you can eat my ass.
PlayStation.
Jokes aside, this is entirely bullshit. I love how they also try to spin this as them being so caring too. Oh, we were just going along with what the consumers want, guys. The records show most people do buy more games digitally these days, so we're just going along with the trend. It's not our fault, guys. In fact, you should be thanking us for making it so much easier to buy games now. Don't worry about some stupid disc. Just buy the games from our digital storefront, where we also make a percentage of the profits from each sale, and we can also restrict your license at any point for any reason. Yeah, they don't mention that part. While it is true that most people do buy games digitally these days, that's not a made-up thing, it's a fact. Sony, you don't think you have a partial influence in that shit? When you make the disc drive not even come with the console itself, and instead is another $80 upgrade add-on that you have to buy for the system in order to enjoy physical media, naturally people are going to go with digital more because you yourselves made it more annoying to get into physical media on your system. You are not the good guys here, you are partially influencing this future. And you know, quite frankly, I don't really give a fuck if more people are buying digital games because it's pro-consumer to let consumers have options. You have the option or choice to buy digital or physical if you so desire. You can choose to buy our games from any retail store or even buy used games at a discount that are older, or you can buy things from the digital PlayStation Store. It's your choice. With this move to all digital, guess what? You have one option of buying a game, and that's from the first-party PlayStation digital storefront itself. No more used games. If they're sold in retail, they'll just be digital codes in boxes, and based on what we've seen from GTA 6 so far, that isn't exactly going well with physical retailers, because no one fucking wants a code in a box. When they buy physical games, they want the whole actual disc. Did you guys know right now you can go and buy God of War Ragnarok at GameStop, a used physical copy on the PS5 for $34.99? This game is going on 4 years old, by the way, so that's about the price you would expect for a 4-year-old game. Well, with this digital future on the PlayStation Store, it's still full price at 70 US fuck me in the ass dollars. You see, that is the choice as a consumer that you no longer get to make with only having games digitally. There is no competition here anymore. You will be flocked towards the PlayStation Store, and that's it. It is completely anti-consumer. It doesn't matter if you buy most of your games digitally or not. It's a matter of consumer choice. Do you know how many times I would be interested in buying an older game back in the day, and I would look around for a cheaper used copy to save money because I didn't have a lot of money back then, and also I didn't come from a ton of money. My parents didn't have a lot of money either. I remember when I bought a used copy of Modern Warfare 2, it costed me $3 used from GameStop back then. Modern Warfare 2 from 2009 is selling digitally right now on the Xbox Marketplace for $20. This game is 17 years old, guys. This is the future we're heading towards. Overpriced, digital nonsense. You have no choice. You have no ownership. And funnily enough, just recently, Sony lost licensing for a bunch of movies that they were selling on their marketplace, and so they completely removed them from being able to be purchased. So even if you bought those movies digitally before, you can no longer access them, and you didn't get any refunds. They just said, hey, why don't you go and fuck yourself? And so what is stopping them from doing this to games when a license runs out for a song in a certain game for something where they don't have the rights to sell it anymore? And you know, it's so out of touch that they decide to share this news, them going digital only in the future. At the same time, they share news about them shutting down digital stores on the PS Vita and PS3. After nearly 2 decades of supporting the PS3 console generation, we wanted to let you know that we'll be closing the PlayStation Store on PS3, as well as on PS Vita. PlayStation Store on PS3 will close in select markets starting this year, followed by global closures for PS3 and PS Vita next year. That means new content purchases will no longer be possible once the PlayStation Store closes on these devices. To ease the transition, players will still be able to download previously purchased content after the closing date for the foreseeable future. Well, that certainly sucks, doesn't it? No more digital PS3 games being sold. Fortunately, you know, we do have a foolproof way to preserve games from back then on the PS3 by them, you know, being on physical discs and actually owning the game physically. You know, what's going to happen 20 years from now when the PS5 storefront shuts down and now all those digital-only games are gone forever, poof, because there are no more discs. Well, I guess there goes an entire generation of games. Whoop-de-doo. And another thing that I'm very curious about here, obviously with this news, the PS6 is going to be a digital-only console. That shit's not having a disc drive. So what happens to the people that bought all those physical games on PS5 then? Do they just not get to play those games that will likely be backwards compatible on the PS6? Are they just going to say, oh, sorry, you should have bought those games digitally, you sucker, but now you got to go and rebuy them to play them on your PS6? That's complete bullshit if that's the case. That is complete horseshit. Now, I'll be honest with you guys, I do buy most of my games digitally, but that's also because I play 95% of my games on PC from Steam these days. I don't really play console like I used to. The only time I boot up my consoles is to play GTA Online because PC GTA Online is fucking awful with modders and I just get my game crashed over and over if I try to play it. One of the appeals to console, though, has always been the physical media aspect and just the option to buy games that way, which you don't get on PC. Like, you can buy games physically on PC, but like, who does that? It doesn't happen. It was always the most exciting thing is to go and get a brand new game, and then on the way home, you just read the box art, and like you to take off the plastic wrap and smell the fresh new game. That was always the most exciting time as a kid, getting a new game like that. With this all-digital future for console games, what is even the point of owning a console anymore, really? You're gonna pay $1,000 plus for a next-gen console because AI has fucked the RAM prices completely and storage prices, and then another $80 a year for online, and then you're forced to pay full price for decade-old games digitally. You might as well just get a PC at that point because Steam is a hell of a lot of a better store than PSN or Xbox is. And there is a pretty big difference between digital ownership on PC and digital ownership on a console. My Steam library will consist for generations to come. When my PC right now becomes old and I build a new one, my Steam library will still remain there to access on the brand new PC. You can't say the same for a PS5 console. It's all tied to that one system. And it's evident by the news of them shutting down PS3's digital store. Not to mention, on PC, you don't just have one method of buying a game digitally. You can buy a game on Steam, which is the recommended way, or you can use the first-party launchers like Ubisoft, Xbox, Epic Games, EA, whatever. There's GOG, which lets you play digital games without even needing a launcher. All of these services compete with each other. You don't have that on a console where you only have one method of buying a digital game right away. It's basically a monopoly. Anti-consumer. PC games are also preserved through piracy. When a game is cracked, that means you can access that entire game without the need of any sort of service to check to see if you have the license for the game. How do you think people get old PC games like the old NFS games or the old version of Silent Hill 2 on PC working properly, for instance? Those games are not sold anymore on any digital storefronts, but people distribute them on the internet because that's the only way they still can be accessed. But you can't do that on a console when you're locked to the first-party marketplaces only. It's just depressing, it really is. I mean, do we ever get any good news in the gaming industry anymore? Every week, it's like PlayStation and Xbox compete to see who can fuck up the most. oh, we're raising the prices of Xboxes soon, guys. And then Sony comes back the next week with, oh yeah, well, we're getting rid of physical media in 2028. How about that? Then next week, Xbox is going to hit back with, oh yeah, we're laying off 1,000 workers and closing 5 studios. How about that? It's just always bad news after bad news. What is even happening anymore? Anyways, I just wanted to cover and give my thoughts on this terrible news today. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Do you still buy physical games, and do you hate this news as much as I do? And if you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, feel free to leave a like, as well as subscribe to my channel for more content. I also want to give a huge shout out to all of my channel members for your support. If you'd like to become a member for some exclusive perks, you can either use the join button or the link that's down in the description. And as always, thanks for watching, and have a great day.